Hey everyone, my name is Chris Anderson. I've got one word for you: plastics. They're pretty much everywhere and we tend to use a lot of them. Plastic waste is becoming a real problem both for humans and the environment. But my friend Serena Thomas has been using discarded plastics to make new goods. She's using old things to make something new and useful, cutting down on plastic waste and keeping our planet clean. Let's check in with Serena and see how she does it. Hey Serena.
Hey.
Thanks for inviting me down here. This place is great.
Thanks for coming down.
Yeah. So, first question, what the heck are plastics to begin with?
What the heck are they? They're essential. It's an essential material, but it's a collection of molecules. You've seen a milk jug in your house, that's plastic, one collection of molecules. You see this acrylic here, a different type of molecule. Depending on the different uses, it has a different makeup and different strength properties.
So each type of plastic is a different set of molecules?
Yes.
Gotcha.
And depending on the use, it would be there'd be a different chain depending on what you're talking.
Okay, so the molecules themselves are like in a chain, and depending on what molecule it is, it depends on the type of plastic?
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So why is it so important to recycle plastic then?
So it's a finite resource when you think about how they're made from fossil fuels, and we only have so many of those. So it's important to recycle because we only have so much. So you got to think about who's coming after you and needs the resource. So if we don't recycle, you're only setting people up for failure in the future. I'm trying to keep it light, but it's getting really dark. So.
Yeah. Well, and if they're made from fossil fuels, that extracting those isn't great for the environment either.
Exactly. It's really resource intensive, and there's better ways to get access to those resources, but we have to make it easier for people to get access. In order for that to happen, we need to recycle.
Cool. So what are some ways that you are recycling plastics here at Precious Plastic?
So a few different ways. So we partner up with a few local partners to get some of their recycling streams. Most recent stream that we are working on is acrylic sheets from Social Distancing Shield.
Yeah, I remember these.
So these are from a local school, and we're working with them to use laser cutting mechanisms to cut out some different shapes. So this is eventually, using your imagination, a plant holder. And there will be a plant in here.
So you use a laser to cut all that up?
Yep. So
That's
you
super
can
cool.
cut this into different pieces and attach it, and then use some methyl acetate to bond this together. Because of some of the properties of this plastic, you don't actually have to use glue or anything.
Well, so what else do you guys do with the plastic around here?
So one thing that we did last year was make a lamp out of some medicine bottles.
That used to be medicine bottles?
Yeah, this was medicine bottles. So this top actually comes off. So we basically made a lampshade using some other materials. So we made a negative of a mold using 3D printing and some cast molding, and pressed this into this shape.
That's super neat. So you guys took the old medicine bottles, like the prescription bottles, melted them down, and then used the melt to 3D print?
Yes.
That is super, super cool.
Yeah. So it's it's a really cool project, and it's kind of showed us some of the opportunities with some of the different plastics.
Cool. Well, can you show me a little bit how you do that?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Well, man, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Really cool to see how you can just take old plastic and just create something totally new. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, it's wild. Like every day we make something, I'm just like, oh, that was possible? Okay. It has me rethinking everything. So
Yeah, well, it's got me rethinking. So what's one of the coolest things that you have made thus far?
I would probably say a ruler. It doesn't sound that cool, but we grow up using rulers all the time, but just like cutting out a ruler out of some old acrylic and being able to use it for the same functions that like I've always used it, I'm like, wow, okay. Things are much simpler than I thought.
Yeah, and it's
So-
probably super practical to
Yes.
have a ruler around.
Yes.
So what are some ways that kids at home can use, reuse and repurpose plastic?
Yeah, I think just rethinking before you're about to throw something away. I think kids can think about what are the possibilities, because something might seem like trash, but you could turn it into a really cool art piece or a collage or something. And there's some function that can come out of old plastic.
I think that's a really great way to think about it, is rethinking old material so it
Yes.
doesn't just get thrown away.
Exactly.
So if you are working at home with some plastic, what are some ways that maybe you can connect with other people who are doing cool things, repurposing plastic and making new designs?
You can look at reuse communities. There's a really strong reuse community in Cincinnati with like Indigo Hippo and the Cincinnati Recycling and Reuse Hub. But wherever you're at, you can find some sort of like reuse center and find the right people in your community who are already doing that type of thing. And there's a lot of resources online like Precious Plastic, but others, if you just, you have to find your people, but there's a lot of really cool people doing different things with reuse material.
Well, Serena, thank you so much for inviting me down here and
Yeah.
showing me how you are not just reducing plastic waste, but using it to create some really cool new things.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time on Science Around Cincy. Do you love science? Of course you do. So stay up to date on all things science around Cincy by subscribing to our channel and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at SciAroundCincy.